All right. So we'll start with this. So before we start, I just want everyone to open Python interpreter where I want you all to print hello exception. So this is done. Let me know and uh, please unmute and reply because I won't be able to see the chat. So you can simply tell me once you're done. So yeah, print hello exception. Yeah, you guys got this? Hello exception, I guess. Yeah, can anyone unmute and reply?
Yes, sir, we have done it.
Okay, so I think you guys have got this. So obviously it's print and you just give the string hello exception and you should see hello exception. Yeah, so basically exceptions in Python or exceptions are kind of errors only. Over the couple of days, you may have seen various errors you got. So those are exceptions. So exceptions are basically errors itself. Thing is, why we need to take care of exception so much is that if there is an exception or if there is an error in a program when it is executing, and it will simply terminate it, which is very bad. So to take care of that, we need to handle these exceptions. So first of all, we'll just see various types of errors or exception we can say we saw. Maybe you guys have encountered over the couple of days when you were doing. So let us see maybe, yeah, let's define a string like simple string. A is equal to P and then we have a B int 2. Now try to add this A plus B. What do you get? Yeah, anyone?
What it says, it is a type error, can only concatenate a string,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
int.
exactly. So it says type error. So there is a string and there is a int. So Python is not able to append it. So in that case, we get this error, type error. Okay, so this is also a kind of exception. This is a standard exception, which is type error. So then you may also try, okay, so instead of B, A equal to P, you can put it as 2. Okay, instead of being an alphabet, make it a 2 and then try to add it. Still, you should get type error. So all are getting the same kind of error.
Yeah, it's still same.
Yeah, same. So what we can do is before adding, we can convert this string into int and then we can add. So you can try this command int a plus b. So this is typecasting, basically converting string to int. Now, do you get an output?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is 4.
Yeah, now it is 4 because it is adding 2 plus 2, 4. And now there is no error because, yeah, it has converted string into obviously int and we are able to handle this. This is fine. But what if ASP now and then you try to add it? Now what should you get?
It will give again same error.
No, it's a different error. Now it's a value error. So basically what is happening in this case, we have, suppose if I try to convert P, it shows value error.
Yeah, value error.
Yeah, it's a different error than what we got, type error. Yeah, because now it is not able, Python is not able to understand,
Right.
P, what will be the integer.
Right.
So this is another error exception that we see. You can also try like print, this is my name, Prathamesh. So you can try your name and see what you get.
Yeah, it's a name error.
Name
Yeah,
error.
name error. Oh, in my case, it is saying because I was, yeah, it's a name error. So what you can do, you can define, tell Python that Prathamesh is something or your name, whatever you have entered, and you can give some string to it. So I'll give human being. And now Python should be aware of it. So now if you try to print, you should not get any error. Simply print, right?
Right.
Yeah. So these are few errors that we see. You may have obviously got these errors during your practice sessions and all. But there are few logical errors also. Sometimes we come across, like if we try to divide by 0. If you try this, you will get one more error.
Zero division also.
No, yeah, division by 0. This is again an exception that we have. So this can be the case when we write a program. When we have syntax error, so you may have seen this kind of error also. If you try this, like 1 is equal to 1, which is true, and if it is true, print hi. Okay, you try this code and then you'll see what is the output. What error? Anyone?
Syntax error.
Syntax,
Syntax error.
obviously, yeah. The colon is missing. You may have done control flow tutorial. So I am sure you must be aware that, yeah, there should be a colon. So now if you try, you will get high. Okay, so syntax error is fine. Like during the parser itself can tell us that, oh, there is a syntax error. But there are some logical errors like division by 0, which we need to handle during execution and avoid termination of the program. So in that case, let us define function. So you guys are aware of defining a function, like you have gone through this. So you can create a function. So let us create a divide function. So let's create a function divide, which takes 2 arguments, A and B, which we'll consider as int for now, and we'll simply store the quotient in a variable. So A by B, and return this quotient. So this is how we'll define a function. So yeah, you guys can create a function. Once you have created, we will proceed ahead. The function name, 2 parameters. We are just returning the division of 2 numbers that we give. This is the function that will give division. Once done, let me know.
What is the difference between division and floor division?
Yeah, floor will give you the, if it is the float value, it should give you the lowest value, kind of. So it will round up and it will give you the kind of, so it is 2.4, so it should give you 2, something like that. Yeah, you can try that out. That is fine. There are many things like that. Yeah, here we'll be basically focusing on division. It will be rounded up or it may not. It is not a issue right now. Only thing is we need to see what will happen to the division if we give some weird values. So all have done this?
Yes.
Yeah. So now if we divide, we call this function divide, and we give input like 5 and 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So this is working fine. You guys can try with different values. Okay. But the point is, what we are trying to see is, what if we give 0 as the,
It's a 0 division error.
yeah, it will just crash, like, oh, there is an error, division by 0, boom. So you guys can try this, you will get this. Now this is what we need to handle. This is what is the most important thing right now. We are going to focus on what we can do. So for that we have try except blocks. Yeah. So in try except blocks, so basically in try, you will write your code, which you feel is slightly can cause some logical error, or you find something is like, okay, weird can happen. So you can put that code in try, and in exception, if there is an exception, it will be handled in this except block. So we'll try this out, try except. So let's take the same function. So we have this divide. Now what we'll do, we'll just put this, if it is good, it will return the quotient. If not, what should happen? So if there is an exception, it will go to this block, except block, And here we can do whatever we want. Okay, so the flow is not okay hampered. So print, and what we can do is we can simply print chalo divisor cannot be 0. So kind of this. So you can modify your function. You can press if you're using IPython interpreter, you can simply press up arrow and you will get the whole function, and you can edit it instead of retyping it the way I've done.
It is just like a try-catch block. What I feel.
Yeah, if maybe in Java, if you guys have seen try-catch, yeah. So it is similar to that. You handle the exceptions exactly. In Python, we have we call it exception catch. So yeah. So I hope everyone has done this. So now maybe you can try to call this function again. So we can say 45 3. Yeah, it's
Excuse
working.
me, sir.
Yeah.
I'm having some problem with this. When I'm trying to write the statement of print after except, I'm not allowed to do that. I mean, it's giving me some file tokenize line 4 or something like that.
Oh, is there any indentation issue or something like you're typing it in interpreter, like the command prompt?
I'm writing it in prompt.
Yeah, prompt. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after except, so it's exactly the same colon indentation.
Yes. It's perfectly same as what you have written.
Oh, it shouldn't.
Some
Okay.
indentation error is appearing.
Yeah, indentation or something.
That where should be the indentation? The try is
Okay.
giving
Maybe you can rewrite it again or something like freshly instead of
Okay, I'll try then.
right and let me know. And I think there will be someone else around, like maybe Ankit or Akash.
Okay.
Because if they can see the screen, your screen, they can easily help you quickly.
Okay, I'll try typing it again, and then I'll get.
Yeah, I think it should work. Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, is it the mismatch
you.
between Python 2 or Python 3?
No. It should work in both. Yeah.
We are writing now, as Prabhu said, sir said something from we need to type.
Yeah, and so like in Python 2, so if we are basically taking input, one second, so if we are taking input from the user, so this enter a number basically. So if you are doing this, this will work well in 3. Maybe in 2 you will have to put raw underscore input. Something may differ, but I think this definitely some indentation or some issue.
Yeah, it is a indentation. I think it is a try and accept
Yeah.
that you have to indent properly.
So if I now call this function with 0 divisor, now instead of crashing, it will handle the exception raised by Python. We are handling it, and it will gracefully say divisor cannot be 0. So we are nicely tackling it. So this is extremely important when we develop something, that we should definitely, if there are some exception, there are some cases, we should handle it and avoid the termination. Yeah, so hope others got up to this point. Divisor cannot be 0. They are able to catch the exception and handle it. This is exception handling basically. Yeah, maybe I hope others are also getting it. They are at the same point.
Sir, we need to type that from _danter, something like that.
No. You don't need to import anything. This is that is only to import some package or something. You don't need to import anything. Nothing. Exactly what I'm doing. We are not importing. These are all default things. Nothing to import.
So sorry to disturb. It is working now.
It is working. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, probably it was indentation error something.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. So guys, we may let's see maybe one more example we have in front of. So yeah, since we add input, okay, thing across. So we'll try input. So let us single enter a number. We'll ask user to enter a number. Okay. So yeah, you guys can try this, and if you enter some number like 56, okay, and then print a, or you can simply, if you're using IPython A, it should show 56. Fine. This is, I think everyone can take input from the user.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you're using Python 2 some X version, so you may use raw underscore input. Input may not work. So raw underscore input to get input from the user instead of input. Now try to add some value to this 56. Try what you get.
Typo error.
Yeah, type error. So obviously,
Noted, sir.
yeah,
Type error.
whatever input that we give, it is in a string format. So we can't do any mathematical operation on it. We need to convert it into string. So that is one thing we have to be careful when we take inputs from user. So we can easily handle that. You guys are now aware that we can use int to typecast, okay, to convert string to int. That is fine. So we can create this in try catch to handle this. So suppose we write a try and we take input. You can actually get this by pressing up arrow directly. We don't need to type again. But fine. So, yeah. Now if I am just printing a plus 2. So now this is definitely type error because I cannot add string and a number. Okay, so I'm going to get an exception. So I'm aware about this right now. So I'll just put the except block and I'll say some message to the user. Message can be invalid, because 56 according to user is entering proper number. Cannot add something. This is for programmers. Oh, I've done some problem. So kind of thing. So yeah, when we execute this, let's enter number 45 maybe. Cannot add. So we are not able to add this, okay, only because there is type error, but we have handled the type error by, okay, the exception block, try and except. Because we are, as a program, we are aware that there has to be some exception over here. Let's correct this. Let's make this proper. So what we can do is we can directly convert this, the value that user enters into integer. Okay. So yeah, I hope everyone reached the cannot add point. Then we can do some corrections. I mean to say, rectify the code.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So we can slightly move ahead now. So now we have this a, which is a string. We can simply correct this by putting int over here, int of a. But I would suggest don't do this, because then every time wherever we to convert it into integer, if you want to do some operation mathematical. So best is whenever the input comes, convert this itself into int. Whatever value the user enters, it is directly converted into int and stored in a, variable a. And now we can work with this. Now you guys can press enter. You will get, suppose now you enter 45, you should get output 47. So now there is no exception because the code is working well according like the way we want as a programmer. So once you reach this point, let me know.
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So guys, input is returning whatever the user enters. Whatever is written is converted into int and then it is stored in a. So at this point, this is happening. Okay. Yeah. So let's proceed ahead. Now, let's run this thing again. And instead of number, suppose you give some alphabet like T, like user enters some alphabet. Now, again, there is an exception. Oh, cannot add. This time, obviously, it is some other exception that we are aware about, because what we are doing is we are converting string to int. And we know that if it is not a number string, then the Python fails to get the value for it. So in that case, we get now value error. Previously, we were getting type error because we are not able to add string and integer. So we handled that. But now there is again an exception. But this time, the user is making some mistake by entering some invalid input. So we can also handle this. Okay, obviously we have already handled it because we have written try except. All right, over here, cannot add. Yeah. So in such there are cases where we need to handle some logical errors like division by 0 hota hai. Then there are such cases where user makes some mistake in entering the input. If we don't do that, if we don't catch those exceptions raised by Python, then we may end up terminating the program. So this is how we handle exceptions. But right now we did a very simple thing like we had some exception and we handled it fine. But there is a good way as a programmer. We should always mention what are the exceptions that we have that can be raised by Python. So it is always a good practice, because now see what is happening. It is saying cannot add. So suppose if I don't convert this into int, we are aware that now addition won't happen even if I enter 6. Now what is happening? String and int we are not able to add. There is a type error. Now again, if you run this, if I enter some alphabet A, again it cannot add because it is not issue of right now. Obviously it cannot add against string and same thing, type error. But even if when you handle the type error, how did you handle the type error? By converting this into int. This is how you handle type error. So if I do fine, now addition is possible, but now if you do, it cannot add. So there are two types of exception that is raised by Python. One is there was type error, you handled it, but now there is a value error, where you are not entering integer, not entering a number which can be converted into, with the string can be converted into integer. So it is good practice that we mention the exception over here. So suppose if you remove this, int, now there obviously there is, we know that type error is there. And you put type error. So this is exactly what Python shows when we create an error. You may have seen this. So so after except, just mention what kind of exception you are trying to handle. This is very good practice, because if there are any other exception, the system or the program may crash, but at least you will be aware what error is what error is present. If you don't mention this, if you simply mention except, all the things will be handled. But as a programmer, you will never understand where the problem is, what is causing the problem. But now it is very specific. Now there is a type error. So if I enter 5, cannot add, it is handling. So put this type error and then obviously we want type error. So rerun this and see whether you can get this cannot add. Yeah, everyone almost on the same page.
Just
Yeah, we can wait for a minute, not a problem. Yeah, till then I'll just repeat again. See what is happening. Initially when we were running it, we were simply catching all the exception, which is kind of it will handle, but a bad practice as a programmer. A good practice is always mention what exception you're trying to handle, because if there are any other exception, fine, you will come to know this is crashing, or this is breaking, or this is a problem, then you can handle that. But if you simply put except, it will handle everything, and you will have no idea what kind of exception you are handling. So it is a very good practice to mention, okay, what exception you are handling. So if you're done with this, so what we can do is we can now correct this by int. This is quite simple. You guys are now, I think, expert. You can easily do this. And now if you enter 5, it should give me 7 without any exception raised, because now we have handled it. Okay. Once this is done, let me know. We'll move ahead. Yeah, you have to only press up arrow. You get the same code. Okay.
Done,
I'm
sir.
pressing up arrow. Yeah. So you don't have to retype, guys.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you show me that definition what you have given? Divide by 0.
The function.
It should be in one line. Na? I am also facing the same problem. Indentation error.
Okay. So this a comma b, this function.
Same one.
Yeah. So
And-
you want.
Try should be, it should be in one line, na?
No. Try is a separate block. Na? Def is a definition. So try should be indented.
Okay.
Yeah.
Q equal to A by B, na?
Then inside try, try. Then you can Q is equal to A by B. You are dividing.
And
Okay,
return.
you can return this also. Okay, and except will be exactly at the same level where the try is.
Try.
Yeah.
And
And,
print will be exact.
Indented. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Indented like this. Okay. So then we have, yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, cool. So fine. Where were we? Can we so proceed with this thing? Type
Sir,
error.
one
Yeah.
doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, earlier we mentioned the exceptions, sir, like type error when we given 5. So what if we are giving T instead of 5 and giving that type error, sir? Will there be an error, sir?
So you mean to say if I give C as the input,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
means not a number but an alphabet in short, right?
Alphabet, yes, sir. Yes,
Exactly.
character.
Like this now. Excellent. So if we put C, now it is crashing, value error. Why? Because we are not handling it. Now this is specific exception handling, that is type error. What we wrote is except type error. So handle only type error. If this was not present, so it was able to handle everything. But that is a bad practice, because then now we don't know what exactly is breaking. But now as a programmer, I am able to see, oh, there is a value error. Now you may feel, oh, now I need to handle this value error also. So you can do that same thing. Catch one more time. Okay, value error. Yeah. So value error, in this you can say something else, which will be like you will also understand and the user will also understand what is happening. So you can say invalid input. So user is not giving a valid input, right? So now if I put C, it says invalid input. So you are handling value error also. So you can handle multiple exceptions. Okay, and now you are in well control, and something else break, you can handle that. As a programmer, you are aware of all the cases, which is very good practice. If you say, which we were doing, okay, if you look at the previous, this thing, okay, try except, this will handle all the exceptions. For all the exception, it will say division zero, which is not a good thing. As a programmer, we should definitely know what exactly is breaking, and then we'll be aware what to do, how to fix it, and what can be done. Yeah, like this. So maybe you guys can try this with, catching two exceptions. One is type error, we already did. Value error you can add simply just below.
Sir, but for C, it is not giving any exception as such. Invalid input.
So that's a
value error.
catching the exception, and we are saying invalid input.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are handling now that exception.
But this type error will be without any space.
Yeah, without any space. These are inbuilt.
Okay. Keywords.
Yeah, keywords. Yeah. So whenever you get some error, no? So okay, fine. This is fine. So if I do, so these are the things. Zero division error. This is what our exception, and that exactly we handle over here. We write over here,
So
which are the Python inbuilts. Yeah. It's a inbuilt, not a keyword. Yeah, it's a type, not a. So I think all are done with this, like trying this out. You can try with proper number. You should get proper answer. If you try with something like alphabet, you should get invalid input. So if done, we can proceed slightly ahead.
Sir, type error when we will get? Sir?
So when we are trying to add a string and int in that case, but we have handled that in our program. So mostly this won't occur now. Yeah. So this won't be the case.
Acha. In quotes, if I give add or hello, it will fire this exception. Na? Cannot add.
No. It will fire this value error.
Value error.
We are trying to convert it into int, na? It cannot
Okay.
convert it. Yeah, if you remove this int, then it will always get this cannot add, because you cannot add string and integer. So that.
Sir, but about the type error, can you give any example?
There can be many actually. We need to like this is one to see. It's like
No, but how two numbers, na? Let's say A. What should be the value of A to get the type error?
Acha, like that. So
Yeah.
A is supposed we have something like string, and B is an integer or some number. Now if you try to add this, then it will show type error.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, if that's what I was telling you. Okay, if I put in quotes, so it will fire that cannot add.
So, Prathamesh, let me just try to answer this question quickly.
Okay.
So you have to understand that there are different types of errors. So these will be generated depending on the nature of what you're trying to do. So what this is trying to say, type error basically says you are trying to do some operation between two types for which that operation has no meaning, or there is no defined behavior for that. So when you do A plus B, when one is a string, one is an integer, you can do A divided by B, for example. You can do, you can do A divided by 3, for example. You'll get a type error. So you can get a whole host of these, and this, it does no sense in actually trying to figure out how many ways. One good thing is if you try this yourself, and this is again why Python is, the interactive interpreter is so useful. There's no sense in by-hearting or remembering all of these, but it helps to know what will cause what. And the way to do that is to type it out yourself and try. Because there are you can generate all kinds of errors. In fact, it's a good exercise for you to try to generate all kinds of errors. So type errors will typically show up when you have something like this, when the two types are incompatible in a particular type of operation you're trying to do. So it's a good practice to actually try out. And many of these things can be answered directly by, you just start up an IPython session, you try it yourself, you'll immediately see, oh, this is what it is. Because if you ask the instructor will tell you what they feel, or, at that instant, that version of Python may matter, things may change. So it's always good to try it out on the interpreter. Sorry, Prathamesh, carry on.
Yes. All right. So I think all have completed up to this point, like catching multiple exceptions. Hello. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we can also write this, okay, in one like except call, like in a one except block. So instead of writing multiple exception, but obviously writing multiple is the best practice, I would say. So I can actually pass a tuple over here. So any kind of exceptions that I feel okay can occur, I can simply do this. So yeah, you can try this out also. It will give you same thing. You cannot add. And if it is, yeah. Okay, we'll stick to one exception for now. So what we can do is we can have a while loop till the time user is not giving us the correct input. We'll ask him to give the correct input so that we can do the addition. So we can have a while true thing at the start. Look at the indentation. Kindly have proper indentation. Yeah. So while this is like true, let's try. We'll take input from the user, print, and if everything is fine, let's come out of the loop. We'll break it. So the while loop will end. And if it is not, yeah, then obviously, okay, it will go to the exception. Again, it will ask for the input. Again, it will go to the control, will go to the while. Yeah. So let's try this out. Let's see. So if I'm giving 5, this is fine. We are out of the while loop. It breaks. This is completely fine. You guys can try this. But what if I give some, okay, alphabet. So now it cannot add, but it is again, okay, it is not coming out of the while loop. It is breaking. It will wait for your correct input. So again, if I give something weird, yeah, it will not do. The time when I enter the right value, yeah, it will give us the output and it will exit. So this also you can try this. Yeah, once you guys have done, let me know. And yeah, okay. So now there is like a couple of things more in exception that we can do actually. So there is one try except. So we saw try except, and there is a else. So we can also use else block. Else will be used when there is no exception. The else thing is called. So we can try this out. Try except and else. So let us modify the above code itself. So let us put remove this break from here. We are just adding it, and in else, okay, we'll say print all good, and then we can break it, like, because there is a while loop on top. Guys, be careful. You have to always break it if everything is fine. So yeah, you guys can type this out. Just remove the break from try, then put a else, and inside else type print all good and break. So basically right now what will happen, else is called when there is no exception at all. Okay, so if I enter proper number, yeah, it says all good and it breaks and everything is good. Now if I enter some invalid input, so yeah, cannot add, it goes again back to this, the control goes back to the while, and again input, enter a number, it will ask. Again, if I try again, it will say cannot add. So till the time I give right input, if I give right, it will add and it will obviously break. The else, the control passes to the else. So in else is called when there is no exception. In that case, else block is executed. So this is one additional thing. which is extremely useful. When there are no exceptions, you can definitely use this.
Sir, I forgot to write break actually in my code actually, and it is
Yeah, Control C will work.
the Control C is not working. It is asking for a number.
Control D maybe.
No, it's not working. Nothing is
Just
working.
give enter.
It's asking for enter number.
So it's
I guess he goes back to the enter number part, no? So enter a proper,
Okay.
like
No,
enter something where you go into exception. Sorry.
I forgot to write break actually.
So basically, it's fine. You are just that you will now not exit the program. It will keep asking you for the number every time.
Yes, sir.
And is he doing this on the terminal or on a Jupyter notebook?
Terminal, sir.
They're doing it in a Windows.
Okay.
Sir, same thing happened for me. I gave Control C and enter, sir. Both simultaneously it will work, sir.
You can try that maybe, or just close the session and start a new IPython session. And you still get your history.
Yeah. Windows, I think. Close it. Yeah, so guys, shall we continue? Like, you guys have fixed it? The infinite loop thing?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so maybe we can, what we can do is we will avoid while loop for now. We'll just simply put try. We'll take input from the user. We'll say enter. We'll convert it into int. And we'll just print again the same thing for now. Yeah. Then if there is any exception, we'll catch it. Cannot add. Yeah. Now, obviously, we can. This is quite simple to. Yeah, we have a obviously value error. We cannot add now. So in this case, there is one more thing that we should know in exception handling. That is, there is one more block that is finally. Finally is extremely important, and this will be executed irrespective of whether there is exception or not. Even if there is exception, this will be executed. So quite extremely important, and this is mainly you can take example of when you try to open a file and the file does not exist, it is not present, okay, and you need to clean up things, okay, because obviously you're opening or trying to open a file, okay. In that case, you may want things to close up. You want you need to clean up things. So in that case, even if there is exception, you want some part of the code to be executed, okay. And even if there is no exception, you want the code to be executed. So finally is the place where you write the code where the code is actually executed irrespective whether there is exception or not. So it is it is always executed when you handle exception. There are various cases where you will actually need this. So let us print something over here. Finally this, okay. So now if you try, okay, with a proper input, it is proper, it gives you the required answer, and it goes to finally for some other activities that any part of the thing you want to do over there. And then suppose if you give invalid, then also it will say cannot add, and it still goes into finally. Yeah, so maybe I'm actually taken a lot of time, additional time, but yeah, fine. So almost we saw what are exceptions, we saw how to handle exceptions, and then how to handle multiple exceptions. Then else block is executed only when there is no exception, it is executed. Finally, whether there is exception or not, it will always be executed. So yeah, overall we have done almost a lot of basic things in exception. There is also, we ourselves can also raise an exception when we write a code. I'll just introduce you all because maybe it will take some time for this to actually working good. So you can raise exception when you write a code, or when you're writing a function, you know that there can be an exception. So you can raise an exception, and when you raise an exception, someone else who is using your package or something can actually catch that exception. So this is another beautiful thing that we can do. But just for you all, maybe before that, I hope you guys got this finally thing.
Yes, sir.
Output and all. Everyone had tried this out. Quite a simple thing, but I hope you guys did. So before winding up, there is one thing that is raise. You can raise an exception. Like we are now very much familiar with few exception. So value error exception, you can print message in this, says you can say anything basically. Yeah. And you have raised an exception, like how the Python is raised. But this time it is the message that you give. So you as a developer can actually raise an exception, and this whenever your module or whenever your function is called, where you have raised an exception, it can be caught. Okay, using a try except, we can actually handle this exception also. So yeah, that may be in like advanced thing, you can actually study that, you can actually do that. So various other things are there, maybe, okay, in advanced things you can do it. So that's it for now from my side. Thank you guys, thank you so much. And I may hand over to maybe Ankit.
Yes. So in case anyone has any questions, we can take 5 minutes for questions maybe.
Yeah.
In case you folks have any questions, can you please ask them in chat or maybe unmute and quickly ask?
No questions. Very well explained. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Prabhu sir, if you're still here, would you like to say a few words before we leave?
Yeah, I'm here. So I was here if anyone has any questions. Yeah.
Prabhu sir, this is Deepthi.
Yes.
Sir, is there any chances of getting an opportunity to work with you platform, like having a small project or an internship related to data science?
Oh, that is, so firstly, I don't really work in data science per se.
Yeah.
Secondly, internships, I just don't have bandwidth. I mean, given the number of students, the amount of work my day-to-day, I generally don't have any resources for internships. FOSSEE does run an internship, summer intern program.
Yeah, summer internship was there, yes sir.
So those FOSSEE does run. So it's not like, I'm not the one, you will work with like Ankit, Prathamesh and all of the FOSSEE folks. I personally will only be very remotely connected, not directly working.
Okay, sir. Sir, because I have gone through the videos and the explanation was so clear that though earlier I had tried doing Python on my own, but this I found very clarity and understanding was better for me. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Very kind of you. Yeah, glad that it is useful. Yeah, so I suggest, for this, the best thing to do is you pick a project, something that you then just try it yourself. I think you will find that you will be able to do a lot of things, and there are many other libraries. See, now if you know the basics,
yes, sir,
it is you can actually read by yourself and learn a lot more. For example, there's the Python tutorial, which is fully free. You can just go, once you know the language and you're comfortable programming, you can just, read the tutorial, work through that, and you'll get something. There are many free books on Python. So you can,
actually, I have a project in my mind. So I just wanted to see if it is workable both on R as well as on Python.
Okay. Yeah. So those things you can definitely try out and, you can try it out by yourself, and that will be a very rewarding exercise for you to try. Anyone
Yes.
who's looking to do this.
Yes, sir.
Whereas an internship per se then becomes is very difficult to find time for the internship. Because
Yes.
as it is, there are many students in IIT. The number of students we have is very large. We have
Yes.
50 students, we have PhD students, BTech students, so master's students.
Yes.
Yeah, when everything is online, so there's very little time.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Well,
Prabhu sir,
yes, please. I'm here.
how can a mechanical branch student use data science and Python in their career?
Career or curriculum? You
Sorry,
mean
curriculum.
curriculum? So the difficulty with the curriculum is it depends on your specifics of your curriculum. So some institutes will have some courses that require you to know programming and require you to do some basic data analysis. So let's say you're doing an experiment and you're collecting data and you need to plot, and you need to do some statistical analysis of that data. Then you can use something like Python. Now the problem is many colleges and institutions don't do something like this. They just, they'll teach the theory and then, they don't really emphasize the computational part of it. In that case, you will not be able to directly use it in your curriculum unless you go out of your way and try to experiment and learn on your own. I don't know how easy or difficult it is given how much work you already have. But I do know that for many people, having the skill of learning how to program and knowing how to do basic programming and doing data analysis is very valuable for if you're doing a job interview, or if you're looking for a position either in research or in industry or whatever. Knowing a good bit of Python programming is very valuable. It's a good thing to have in your resume and to know to not just to have it in your resume, but also know how to do it. That's a nice thing to have. So if you're doing research, for example, it's helpful. If you're doing any computational work, it's helpful. But if you're not going to do any computational work, right? So supposing, I'm going to be selling soap in a small shop, then, it may be no use to learn a programming language, right? So it really depends on the specific career path you choose and what you're going to do with the program. So in fact, if you're not going to be, supposing you're an artist, okay, and you're not really concerned about this programming and all, you don't need to learn a programming language, right? So it really depends on the specific choices you make. I don't know if that answers your question.
Thank you, sir.
And also, see, some things like if you're doing CFD, if you're doing computational fluid dynamics, there are open source tools for other open source tools that you can use. And some of them will use Python. If you're using FEM, for example, there are very powerful packages that are available that are, again, provide us very good Python interface. So again, it helps to know Python if you know that. If you know Python, it helps to use those tools.
Sir, I asked because our university, Pune University, has introduced data science as minor subject. That's why.
Okay, so in which case, so for that course, it will be a useful thing to know, right? As in, see, one of the problems in a lot of universities is, so one course, one instructor may do something, right? And the other instructor may not use anything from that. Then it's a problem, right? So supposing there's one course in data analysis and nobody else talks about data analysis or any statistical analysis, then you're not going to use that. But if you have a tightly integrated syllabus, then it makes a difference. Then, you know this, then you can use it elsewhere. So for example, here, some of our students have like lab classes where they'll collect do some experiments, collect some data. Now, many of them will just use Excel to make some plots, right? Now, instead of using Excel, if you choose to do it in Python, well, you have a chance of using your data analysis skills. So again, it's, in a curriculum, it really depends on the instructors and the specifics of the curriculum. And yeah, so there's no universal way to do it, but at the very least, you can use open source tools to do these calculations and computations.
Prabhu sir, shall I give a vote of thanks and then we should wind up?
Yeah, I'm just here because if you have questions, I was just waiting. It's you conduct the show, however. Yeah, you can by all means end it. I don't think there are any more technical questions. So
Yeah. So
Yeah, but very nice of
normally, yeah, I would
very
just
nice
like
of everyone to share some very nice words. Thank you very much. And yeah, please use the material, and it's available. It's made for the purpose of everybody learning this powerful tool. So spread the word. Feel free to use it. Yeah, and we hope to see you again for future workshops as well, or you can spread the word to others who may need this in the future. Thank you, everyone.